We are going to do our colored pencil drawing skill builders today. So colored pencils behave a lot like regular pencils. They will become dull. You will need to sharpen them. So this, kind of like with our crayon skill builders, I want you to take a color and layer another color on top and see what happens. Think like a painter almost. When you do this kind of stuff, think how like a painter would build up their colors. So I just did a pink on top of a red, which you can tell is not much of a difference, but now I know. And then I did a green on top of a red, which neutralized that red a little bit. Now this appears a little more like dull. So that's interesting too. This would be good for like shadows. Cross hatching, that's where you're going to make lines. And if your lines are closer together, it's going to appear darker, okay? So I'm going to make all these hatching marks, and then I'm going to lighten them up. Those are hatching marks, but we want to do cross hatching. So cross hatching, I go ahead and I go the opposite direction. And I get this really cool crisscross effect. So some artists like to shade in, show their lights and darks with cross hatching. It's really pretty. Now this feathering, this is taking this idea but being a little softer with it and not doing the cross part. So you just kind of take your pencil and you make these strokes. They look like just little wispies of grass in the wind. And when I feather, I like to play with different colors, layering in different colors in between other colors. And this is a great way to add texture, like I said, grass or hair. Some of your feathering marks can be shorter. Some can be long. Just really, really pretty. I like that a lot. And then scumbling, I like to use multiple colors when I scumble. So scumble literally means just sort of like scribble. So you're going to move in a circular motion. And the tighter your scribbles are, the darker it's going to appear. If you loosen up your scribbles, it will become lighter. Again, I really enjoy layering here when I scumble, to build up that depth of color. And now a value scale. So that's similar to what we did with the crayons. So you're going to start dark. You're going to use your pressure, press hard, not too hard that it's going to ruin the integrity of your paper. And then you will gradually lighten it up. Ease up on the pressure. Ease up on the pressure. Beautiful, just like that. Okay, now this build up layers. So this is similar to the blending, but what you want to do here is you want to color in your shape. And to make this darker, you can press harder, right? But an easier way to do that is just to build up your layers. So I just was going up and down, and now I can go side to side, kind of like that cross hatch. But here I'm not trying to see all the lines. I'm just coloring it in. And what's going to happen is this orange is going to get richer and richer and richer. Now I'll move at a diagonal. And you can just see how it's becoming darker and darker and darker with every layer that I put down. Beautiful, beautiful. So I want you to try that with two different colors. Try to pick like kind of opposite colors, maybe a warm color and a cool color. And you can try going different directions to start. So this time I'll start diagonal. And I'll go diagonal this way, up and down, and side to side. The last thing that I'll ask you to do for colored pencils is to shade in a sphere. So we will draw a circle, and you need to determine where you want your light to be. You want to show highlight and shadow. So if the light is coming in from this direction, it's going to be hitting the sphere right around here. So I'm going to just lightly kind of draw a little oval there. And I know not to color in that. I'm going to leave that white. That's going to be my pure highlight. So that means the darker part is going to be heading towards this area. Now when you shade in a sphere, you want to be moving with the contour of the shape. You want to be following that circular edge. You don't want to really be going up and down because we want to make it appear as if it's three-dimensional. So right about here is going to be the dark part. And then behind this dark part, there's something that's called reflected light, where the light is bouncing back onto the sphere. So I don't make that as dark. I kind of lighten that up a bit. And then I go into dark. And then I start lightening it up. And then you want to get to very, very, very light where that highlight is. Again, I'm following the curve though. So that's kind of the hard part, is to keep moving with like that curve of the sphere. Now, if you wanted to get super fancy, you could start playing with, well, how do I layer to build up that shadow, right? Could I put maybe some blue in with this green to make it appear darker? Could I layer those colors? Now I built up that shadow even more, right? That's why we're learning how to layer and blend and all of that stuff, so we can think about that in our work. All right, so here are the basic skill builders for colored pencils.